Unraveling the True Grammar of Mathematics, Sapiadelic Mechanics, a Luminal Mind Presentation, Richard Blankenship, Introduction, A New Path in Geometry, the Beginning of an Alchemical Renaissance. Reading furnishes the mind only with materials of knowledge. It is thinking makes what we read ours. John Locke. Are you in a perpetual quest for deeper understanding, broader knowledge, and the unvarnished truths of existence? Are you willing to not just scratch the surface of conventional wisdom, but delve into the deepest layers of higher order thinking? If this resonates with you, then you're already a luminal mind. Philosopher's Agreement. You are at the beginning of an amazing intellectual adventure. This requires you to learn how to think critically, which will help you become a more thoughtful and well-rounded person. Rational thought requires being able to engage in meaningful conversations with others in a way that shows care and courtesy. The Philosopher's Agreement is a set of ground rules designed to encourage conversations in which the ideas being discussed take precedence over the individuals expressing them. The agreement is founded on the premise that everyone who thinks critically and engages in intellectual debates is, in essence, a philosopher. Advocates of the Philosopher's Agreement pledge to put the quality of their thoughts over the reputations of their speakers. Advocates of the agreement are committed to giving the most weight to the ideas being discussed, rather than the individuals presenting them. By taking this track, we may have more in-depth conversations and learn to value one another's points of view. The Philosopher's Pact emphasizes the importance of avoiding personal assaults. Ad hominem arguments focus on the target's personhood rather than their ideas or arguments. This type of criticism can disrupt otherwise productive discussions and make the environment less conducive to learning and growth. The Philosopher's Agreement, on the other hand, asks that you focus on the concepts themselves, reading them carefully, thinking critically about them, and discussing them with others. Precision and promise. There lies a promise in the landscape of our sciences that reality can be understood. The topic at hand is geometry, a subject as ancient as it is profound. This work makes an honest effort to present a synthesis of geometry and algebra, leading to an abundance of new ideas that may be of use to scientists, mathematicians, and beyond. To state the difficulty in guiding others into a presentation of this nature is as tricky as giving voice to the solution. I present an alternative set of geometric insights that are not well known, nor widely accepted. The use of pattern recognition, rigid geometric reasoning, systematic rational examples, and a genuine attempt to remove all error is on display in these pages. By comparing and contrasting these particular approaches to geometry, my findings guide the reader through a demonstration that progresses with defined terms and geometric moves. The diagrams and underlying equations that emerge from the investigations have proven themselves to be compelling, promoting creativity and innovation within scientific circles. This process invites us to challenge conventional units and embrace a relative, dynamic system of measurement. This process has already borne much fruit. Let it be understood that at the commencement of our studies, my presentations are mere beginnings and simplifications available for public consumption. Where I have made my own discoveries, they will be noted. Otherwise, my presentation represents the work of other researchers. There are many seekers doing work in geometry and connecting their patterns to cosmic and quantum scales. Yet, the curiosity that I developed as a lover of math and science since my youth is largely absent from academia today. I find that the research community doesn't have nearly the open-minded curiosity required to learn a new model that someone like me expected to encounter. To learn a new model often requires replacing our own proven methods. This is not to say that we should discard everything we know. Still, this approach provides a codex of patterns that may be applied to your core knowledge. This work stands as a pillar of curiosity and a community working to provide definitions in the field whereby any genuine student may advance. By challenging conventional thinking and embracing a new interconnected language of forms, our studies lay the groundwork for a transformative approach to science and philosophy, a way of thinking deeply and holistically about our place in a world that is in desperate need of renewed meaning and unity. This is our foundation, and as we move forward, we invite others to join us in exploring these universal harmonies that connect geometry, physics, and the enduring wisdom of the human spirit. I believe that the equilateral triangle itself presents a grammatical truth. That is, the Trinity is the identity of reality. One equitriangular unit, ETU, shaded within a larger 12 ETU triangle as defined by the isometric grid. Novata Geometrix. Novata Geometrix is a philosophical declaration. It embodies the act of renewal in geometry, where each concept remains timeless and reimagined. The notary and the amanuensis act as metaphorical tools to ground me in this intellectual endeavor. I am dedicated to recording, authenticating, and transmitting this perspective to a world ready for reformation. The title, rooted in the nature of renewal and creation, signals a specific process of intellectual and scientific advancement. I endeavor to evoke an air of both curiosity and precision, weaving together classical Latin roots and modern connotations to ground its thematic purpose. The concept of novate signifies replacement or transformation, a transition from the old into the new. It implies the deliberate act of renewal, where the past is not disregarded but reinterpreted. We are working within an established framework but actively seeking to replace outdated constructs contained in the standard framework with refined and evolved understandings. The verb novare in Latin, drawn from novus new, speaks to the active nature of this replacement. It is the creation of something new without compromising its original integrity. This renewal extends into obligations, structures, and thought. Thus, the noun novation naturally follows, referring to the substitution of an old framework or obligation with a reimagined one. Novate, fi. To replace by something new, 16 tens, from past participle stem of Latin novare to make new, from novus new, see new, novation. N. Replacement of an old obligation by a new one, 1530s, from Latin novationem, nominative novatio. A making new, renewal, renovation, noun of action from past participle stem of novare. Make new, renew, make fresh, from novus new, see new, the noetic notary. Herein lies the intersection between novation and notary. The latter emerges from a practical necessity to document and authenticate change. A notary was historically tasked with transcribing, preserving, and legitimizing acts of transformation. In this sense, the notary serves as a silent witness to the process of novare, grounding the theoretical in the tangible. The Latin roots of novate and novation suggest a deliberate act of replacement and renewal, akin to the philosophical and scientific cycles where paradigms are overthrown to make way for superior models. The connection to the notary emphasizes the role I've embodied in my pursuit of preserving and authenticating truths. Philosophically, it reminds us of the responsibility to document these transformations with integrity, ensuring that they are accessible and verifiable for future minds. In this light, the notary becomes a custodian of intellectual evolution. Notary. N. Circa 1300, notary. A clerk, a personal secretary, person whose vocation was making notes or memoranda of the acts of others who wished to preserve them, and writing up deeds and contracts, from Old French notary, scribe, clerk, secretary, 12c, and directly from Latin notarius, shorthand writer, clerk, secretary, from notare, to note, from nota, shorthand character, letter, note. See note. N. Meaning, person authorized to draw up and authenticate contracts and other legal instruments, is from mid-14c, especially in notary public, late 15c, which has the French order of noun adjective. Related, notarial, also from circa 1300. The Auwer amanuensis. The term amanuensis is a powerful metaphor for the transmission of ideas. The amanuensis acts as the hand that materializes thought, much as a geometer transcribes abstract principles into lines and forms. The amanuensis preserves while becoming the intermediary hand through which transformation takes physical form. This interplay between the abstract and the physical emphasizes our geometric lens, where perception and energy converge in a framework of synergetic forms. The interplay of these roles suggests an overarching principle, where all renewal requires intent and record. The unseen hand, manus, that moves ideas into reality, becomes an instrument of geometry, a silent, active force shaping the teaching which leads to a greater comprehension of the very patterns of existence. By weaving these definitions into the conceptual scaffolding, Novata Geometricus, we frame a narrative of renewal grounded in precise, documented progress. The inclusion of geometry in the title implies a systematic and spatial dimension to this renewal, highlighting the importance of structure and proportion in shaping both the tangible and the intangible. The work bridges classical understandings with contemporary methodologies, setting the stage for further exploration into the geometric nature of reality. Amanuensis. N. One who takes dictation or copies what is written by another. 1610s from Latin amanuensis, adjective used as a noun. An alteration of servus, a manu secretary, literally servant from the hand, from afore ab from of, here used as a designation of office. See ab, plus manu, ablative of manus hand, from pi root man to hand, with, ensis, for which see ise, also from the 1610s. Definition sources, link. Sapiedelic nomenclature. The term sapiedelic is a neologism, a new word, expression, or usage, coined by an anonymous friend. This individual had captured my attention with their interesting personality, writing style, and research methods. For a short time, we became fast friends and research assistants on the weird wide web. Not long after our internet communications began, they came to an end. But before this chapter of my life came to a close, they left me with a new concept, sapiedelic mechanics. They also charged me with continuations, and bestowed upon me custodianship of this new terminology. The two parts of sapiedelic form a disciplined approach to understanding. Sapi originates from wisdom and knowledge. It's derived from the Latin word sapere, which means to be wise. This part of the word shows how important it is for us to learn and grow. Whereas delic means to attain and acquire. It's derived from the Latin word delicere, which means to take pleasure in. This part of the word emphasizes the importance of actively seeking knowledge and wisdom. Therefore, this new discipline is a call to attain and acquire wisdom and knowledge, or even to delight in the acquisition of wisdom. This synthesis is not limited to abstract musings, but is actionable, offering a structured methodology for exploration and discovery. Under this framework, sapiedelic mechanics becomes the broader intellectual pursuit of understanding how wisdom and knowledge interact, grow, and transform. It emphasizes the interconnectedness of disciplines, advocating for a perspective where fields such as science, philosophy, and metaphysics are interwoven facets of a greater whole. Sapiedelic mechanics, by extension, offers the practical application of this philosophy. It deals with systems, processes, and structures through which knowledge can be attained and applied, often in ways that reveal patterns or truths obscured by conventional approaches. As the presenter of this information, I intend to position this work as a beacon for enlightenment. The term luminal mind is intended to evoke the light-bearing quality of intellect, underscoring the transformative potential of sapiedelic studies. If you desire a better life, upgrade your vocabulary. But it goes further than that. It will require us, as conscious creators, to bring new words and concepts into existence that speak to the light behind our intent. This asks us to create new cultural expressions that better serve the needs of our local and global communities. As we stand on the precipice of a new renaissance, we must remember that our journey is also deeply personal and transformative. We are resolute in encouraging one another to question the structures of authority, where dogma often overshadows discovery, and recognize that truth is both accessible and personal to each seeker. The sapiedelic pursuit is as much about the evolution of the self as it is about accumulating knowledge. I post all of my content under the Luminal Mind canopy when I am active on YouTube or Substack. Sapiedelic principles. Integration of knowledge. By studying multiple fields, we gain a deeper understanding of the complex issues humanity faces. Holistic worldview. Advocates for integrating knowledge from natural sciences, social sciences, and humanities. Integration across disciplines leads to a new era in which science and the humanities converge for a deeper understanding of the world. Creativity and innovation. Encourages creativity and innovation, acknowledging the role of diverse perspectives. Importance of humanities and social sciences. Recognizes that technology alone is insufficient for solving humanities' challenges. Diversity, inclusion, morality, and ethics. DIME rule. Prioritizes ethical considerations and fosters diversity and inclusion. Collective wisdom for a better world. Utilizing shared knowledge and wisdom to foster a more enlightened and interconnected society. The origins of the term sapiedelic society found inspiration from psychedelic society, reflecting the historical acknowledgement of our ancestors. The use of psychedelic substances for exploring higher realms of consciousness has thus had a large effect on civilization. Many indigenous cultures have long used psychedelic substances as a means to access deeper realms of understanding and consciousness. Similarly, modern psychonauts who explore consciousness through substances like psychedelics report experiences of heightened awareness and insight. The Sapiedelic Society concept extrapolates this idea, suggesting that a similar state of elevated consciousness can be achieved through intellectual and spiritual growth. Within this construct, knowledge and wisdom are akin to psychoactive substances in their ability to elevate the mind to a hyperconscious state. High levels of intelligence and understanding naturally lead to a state of euphoria. This is a literal change in brain chemistry. The concept of sapiedelic is a fascinating and enriching pursuit that aligns closely with our deep-seated human yearning. To frame this new discipline within the realms of the map, the territory, and mental fabrications is to embark on a journey through layers of perception, comprehension, and consciousness itself. Sapiedelic studies represents a transformative approach to education and personal development. By intertwining the pursuit of wisdom, sapi, with the active acquisition and manifestation of knowledge, delic, this discipline encourages a deeper engagement with the world. The conceptual framework outlined serves as a foundation for educators and learners alike to embark on this enlightening journey. Through sapiedelic studies, we aim to cultivate minds that are not only well-informed, but also wise, creative, and ready to contribute meaningfully to society. Let's begin with the map. In this context, the map symbolizes our conceptual frameworks and models, the tools and constructs we use to navigate the vast expanse of knowledge. These maps, while invaluable, are inherently limited. They represent our best attempts at making sense of the territory, yet they are not the territory itself. The sapiedelic conception emerges as a vision of evolution in our language and collective consciousness. At its core, the term signifies a shift towards the active pursuit of enlightenment and understanding. This is not just an addition to our modern vernacular, it is an invitation to engage in the conscious evolution of our language, reflecting a more profound transformation in how we perceive and interact with the world. You are an explorer, and you represent our species, and the greatest good you can do is to bring back a new idea, because our world is endangered by the absence of good ideas. Our world is in crisis because of the absence of consciousness. Terence McKenna. McKenna also states, I somehow think that the forced evolution of language is how we're going to work our way back into taking care of our planet. Here, language is recognized as a powerful tool for communication and a creative force that can shape reality. This community, common unity, understands that words are imbued with the power to cast word spells, phrases and terms that encapsulate and radiate the intent and consciousness behind them. As such, creating new terms like sapiedelic is seen as a vital process, crafting linguistic bridges that connect our current state of being with the aspirational visions of our world. We recognize both ancient practices and contemporary explorations into higher consciousness. However, in the sapiedelic context, this exploration transcends the need for external substances. Instead, it emphasizes the human mind's natural capacity to reach heightened awareness through knowledge and wisdom. The truth itself is transformative, can be shared, and requires receptivity for it to be perceived as such. The Sapiedelic Society thus stands as a pivotal concept in this emerging discipline, which aims to nurture future generations. It represents a holistic approach to education, where children are encouraged to acquire knowledge and integrate/apply this wisdom creatively and ethically. The approach should be designed to foster a generation of conscious creators, equipped with the information, insight, and foresight to utilize that information for the greater good. The Society invites us to expand our vocabulary, enrich the intent and consciousness behind our speech, and develop new words to add to our lexicon. Doing so opens the door to a new cultural expression that resonates with the needs of our evolving societies. Imagine a civilization where wisdom is adequately accumulated, deeply understood, and interconnected across disciplines, where real and lasting knowledge is disseminated into the world without barriers or hindrances of any kind. We've already imagined this since the inception of the internet, but we have still largely failed to achieve true freedom of information exchange. If anything, structures, and many of them, have been erected to prevent, distort, and manipulate truths that have stalled our progress in manifold ways. In essence, a sapiedelic society represents an invitation to shift in how humans approach knowledge, education, economy, and existence itself. It's a society that values wisdom and insight as the keys to a more enlightened, cooperative, and harmonious way of life, drawing inspiration from both ancient practices and modern understandings of consciousness. We invite your involvement